Yesterday, this part I was kind of intending to cover, and I hope it will give all of us great starting point, like what exactly is there. And yesterday we have gone through, that blueprint, if you remember, the CCI wireless and all. And now, if you remember there, it was, the third section was the enterprise wireless, CCI wireless section, where it was about the AP and the WLCs, right? So here I'll kind of start discussing from the perspective of a wireless network, all right? And once I'm done with that, let's have a great session. Sure, sure, sure. So yeah, I was saying that let's start with a general discussion of wireless networks, and then we'll move further, and piece by piece we'll start understanding that okay, what is the relevance of which kind of network and the architecture in what kind of networks, what kind of networks we could have and all that, like that. So even in the enterprise network, if you remember, we have the LAN, the WAN, right? That the DC, the internet, the service provider, all those kind of networks that we have. This is all wired side of things. And if I talk about the wireless, same, this LAN becomes the wireless LAN. Any idea about what is WLAN? Anybody?
Yes, wireless local area network.
Yeah, okay. And what exactly is that?
So
It's
because yeah, it will be based on SSID, endpoint will get connected and then, they will be communicating that could be multiple SSID based on that, what kind of, channel we have configured, let's say channel 6, channel 11, channel 7, so like that.
fantastic. Thank you so much. So some keywords we have found: SSID, single or multiple, channel, then we can say bands as well, and client, and if I say AP as well. Now we'll talk about this. We'll start from here, and then this part and this part will cover when I'll get into the wireless. First, before moving to this, we'll understand the RF basics, the RF management, the RF, let's say, what is that terminology, and what exactly is the radio, and what exactly is frequency in the radio frequency. Communication, what exactly is communication? So we'll start from even word level, right? Then we'll build up the sentences, the paras, and then we'll move. Let's say, what are the things like the RF math, which is kind of complicated thing to understand. So I'll try to make it as easier and relevant and sensible as possible. But before that, as per today's class, let's kind of have this, understood. At the end of the class, you'll understand why I started with this. So if I talk about, let's say, the small office and home office kind of network, then if we come to the bigger network, then if we come to the enterprise network, even in the enterprise, we'll see what more can be added. So this is how we are going to progress through this class. So when I say SOHO network, small office and home office, let's say I'm having a small setup at my home and I'm having, let's say, some 5, 7, 2, 3 devices all on the same network, online, private or public internet, all that. And I'm using some devices. Let's say I have a server. If this laptop I have a server here. Let's say I have a printer or something, a phone or something, and then maybe I could have a PC. All right. In that way, I have like different number of devices, and here I have a switch, and this is my, let's say, wired kind of thing, and this is my local area network. I'm having this all good. Now, if I feel the need of internet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to something called a router, a modem, right? And that, if I talk about, let's say, connected to ISP, and from this ISP, we have this, IP based connection, and that is normally a public IP that I get. And when this connection is there, this device here, right? This is a Wi-Fi device, I'm saying, a modem, a router, whatever you call that. I'll talk a lot about this device in particular. But yes, this is public side of things, and here we have the private. So this device itself act as a DHCP server. And by using this, I can not only use the internet on these devices by the wire. If you can see here, I can also use the wireless services as well. Let's say I have a mobile, and that mobile I want to use internet. So this is also acting as an AP, access point. So why I'm calling it a router? Because two different networks, the public and private, it is interconnecting. Why I'm calling it a modem? Because it is converting my digital signals to analog and vice versa. And why I'm calling it the AP, access point? Any idea what access point is? Generally, what is an access point? Why we call
It,
this router as an access point as well?
it's a kind of
All right, thank you.
we can
So this provides us the access of the network by the free space wirelessly, right? So the kind of device which provide you with the wireless access is your access point. So this device itself is providing me the wireless access, not just for internet, all right? Let's say this is for internet. Even if this is a Wi-Fi printer, I'll talk about what Wi-Fi is, all right? So I hope like most of you people should be having the idea about Wi-Fi. Anybody want to say anything about Wi-Fi in general? What is wireless fidelity? If that is the actual name for it. All right, so we'll come to this. But the point being that if this is a Wi-Fi printer, I can access it from this PC, this laptop, or this mobile phone, and I can take printouts. So not just the public internet, but the private wireless networking I can do. Now this is a simple home setup, right? Home office, or it can be a small office. Let's say if this network here is 192.168.0.0 or 1.0/24, for this simple networking for 250 kind of users, this is a perfect solution. And a small office is not supposed to be having more than that. So this here is the setup I can use to get the wireless connectivity. And by the way, this here also act as NBR for me, NAT border router. Because you know here, let's say if this is acting as a DHCP server and here I'm using 192.168.10.5 IP. And if I want to use internet, this request will be going here and this working as a NAT border router. My IP, this one will be converted based on a port number to the public IP. And then the vice versa will happen based on the NAT translation table, and this device will be able to use the internet. So it is also working as a NAT device. So yes, the point about this kind of network is this. One device, many functions as we have seen, but I cannot say, let's say if some friend come visit me and he has a mobile phone, I cannot enable something like guest wireless access or something, right? I cannot isolate one of the traffic from the rest of my other traffic. All right. So we cannot do that in these normal household APs or routers. So here we'll be getting the single internal network or single subnet or single VLAN if I'm configuring things based on that. Any question in this part of the wireless network, SOHO? Good?
Yes, I have one question here. So
Yes.
suppose like, right now we are connecting with different type of wireless. Let's say CDMA, GSM. That is also one kind of wireless network. Then Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 7, then 2 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz. Those also like wireless.
It will depend
Uh,
if this device supports that or not.
okay.
First thing.
So
Okay.
then there will be infrastructure mode and ad hoc mode. So those are
Ah,
going
okay.
to.
That will come later on. Not here. We cannot do anything. Nothing.
Okay, okay. I got you.
These
Thank
are
you, thank
not
you.
those commercial APs, business APs. No, we'll come to
Okay.
that. If you need that even at your home, then yes, you need to invest more in the AP and even in the other devices. Yes, right? This is a simple small setup for the kind of networks not having that much requirement of features. They just want some internet connectivity wirelessly or some private wireless network. That's it. No fancy feature or nothing regarding like integrity or security or traffic isolation. Nothing. Okay. So this is about and I wanted to say something about Wi-Fi. I'm not like coming right now, but just to clarify some of the things if I want to talk about this. When I say wireless, so wireless is very broad term. Okay. Wi-Fi is just one part of that term. Okay. Like if I say this free space, this air and all here. So generally, when I say wireless, what is the first thing that comes to mind? That there are no cables, right? Simple as that. Wired, we use the network by the cables. We use the cables for the device interconnectivity. But wireless, there are no cables. But remember that what kind of network you have seen. If I ask you just a general question for discussion that accept the internet, right, by the APs and modems or Wi-Fi routers, have you kind of seen or worked on any other wireless network?
Um, Yes, like I mean, obviously it's not on a big scale, but yes, Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth is another one, and
Absolutely. Yes.
infrared is another one that we used to use to share the files,
Yes.
and still they are in use, but not by regular persons, like by militaries, and also still they are using infrared to process a lot of things.
So
Absolutely
I
right.
worked on WiMAX actually, one of the
WiMAX.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
WiMAX is another concept, yes.
I always like to, share this word. I believe everybody have used it. Share it. Have you?
Yes, we used. So it's again it's ad hoc
Ad
basically we
hoc.
say
Yes.
network. Yeah.
Yes. So whenever I'm trying to, do any kind of communication and not using cables and all, if you remember the Nokia N70, I don't know if many of you people, but maybe we have used. So I remember
NFC.
me using that device and two devices we need to keep like very close to each other. Infrared technology. Then this was kind of, we used to say that there cannot be, any big technology than this. Within minutes, we could share the GBs of files, and it was a what is that blessing at that time. So we had no idea what was coming in the wireless world, and we would be working in this particular domain. It was the time when we were in our own bachelor's and all that before 2010 and all. But yes, coming to the point here again, when I say wireless, it means a broad term, and my part that we are going to talk about in our course CCI wireless, we are only going to talk about just one technology, which is Wi-Fi. Which organization handles everything about Wi-Fi? IEEE. What other? Wi-Fi Alliance.
ITU, ITU
Yes. ITU in the Wi-Fi domain or in general wireless?
in general wireless.
Right. So there are some organization we'll talk about that. So if you go for, let's say, the beginning level certification, CWNA, or earlier there was CCNA wireless. So these kind of things had weightage. There were questions on these, but here in CCI, they don't test us on the names and dates and nothing about that. On the core topics we are tested on. So I'll not be specifying or talking much about all these historical detail, which is kind of not relevant to us. Coming back. So if I kind of make sense of Wi-Fi, I'm kind of hesitating it, introducing Wi-Fi. So just hold this thought for a moment, or at least for today. On Wi-Fi, we'll have a bigger talk in one or maybe many of the upcoming classes. We'll keep coming back to the Wi-Fi again and again. So today, let me just set a foundation for my enterprise wireless network. Because maybe some of the guys will be for demo itself as well. So I don't want to bore you guys with that RF theory and all, if that is something in particular that you don't want at least. Right? So let's have something actually useful that even if you enroll or not, you can take away from this class. Okay. So having said that, let's talk about the kind of networks which require those fancy features, required security implementations. What to do about that? So then we need to use the access points with more capabilities. All right. So in those kind of networks, there may fall kind of, the medium scaled networks and large scaled networks, like enterprise scaled networks. When I say the scale of network, what will change mainly is the number of users and kind of traffic, amount of traffic. And based on that, let's say if you have one building, 4 or 5 floors, on the other hand, you have 10 buildings, each having 5, 7 different floors, or maybe some IT tower having 20, 25 different floors. So your users may vary from, let's say, 200, 300, 500 to 5,000, 10,000. So that is the scale that I'm kind of talking about. And when I say today, the number of users are this number. So just imagine it, if the number of users are 100 in one building and there are 200 users in other building, what do you think? Is it like a criteria that where the wireless traffic will be more? I cannot say that. Why? Because 100 users may be having 500 devices which require wireless connectivity in one form or other. Another 200 users may have just 300 devices. So now it's not about the users anymore, like the wired world. It is about the total handheld, or let's say the cordless devices we are having in the network. So that is the main concern for us. So whatever we'll be discussing later on in the site survey and other relevant topics. So when I say the density, the traffic, right? So there I'll be talking not about the number of users primarily. I'll be talking more about the number of devices. Okay. So talking about, let's say, what solution do we have and which one can be used for medium to large scale environment? Let's talk about that. So one, we can have autonomous APs and then we can have lightweight APs. As you can see, for medium scaled network, we can have autonomous APs. And for large scaled enterprise scale network, we need to have lightweight APs. Now, what is the difference between these two? Autonomous APs are, as you can see the name itself, autonomously configured and managed one by one, having their own individual identity and their own individual console that you need to access to configure them. Let's say you need to configure the initial settings, then you need to configure the power setting. Why? Because we'll discuss later on that power regulations and compliances are one of the important factors when it comes to the wireless design, especially in the enterprise domains. And when it comes to, let's say, organizations like banking sector and the healthcare center, it comes quite important, like not anything else, supreme important compliances. So power regulations, then we need to have, let's say, what is that? My channel setting and all that, threshold settings. So I call them in short, radio resource management. So radio, again, I told you that we'll be having a separate discussion on RF radio frequency, wavelength, bandwidth, phase, all those terms will be coming later. So one of the term here which is important to understand is radio. So we'll be coming to that. So all these, let's say, security setting as well. I need to access each device. Let's say if you have 50 such APs. All right. Imagine configuring and managing each AP by yourself. So if there are, let's say, 20, 30, 40, 50 APs, maybe, just maybe I can imagine configuring and managing them one by one. But if I have, let's say, 500 AP, So can you think about managing APs of this number by yourself? See the number of engineers and the time you will be requiring to do that. So it's not a practical, feasible solution for enterprise networks. No, they don't want to invest that much, let's say, repetitively. They just want to be get done with it by doing the one-time kind of investment. So for those kind of people, will be having a separate AP and kind of the infrastructure. So this will be coming under my what is that? Um, Lightweight APs. There are more terms I'll be coming to, but just having one simple idea where the autonomous APs, if I have, make sense, and where the lightweight APs, if I need to have, where it makes sense to have them. Just forget about what does mean by the lightweight right now. Any question about the basic idea about these two, lightweight and autonomous, what they are, where they, each is useful. Good.
Both are we can able to log in through the CLI. Nah.
We can, if you want to, yes. Even this lab, you can access one by one. They are pretty much, plug and play. If you want them to be, and mainly that's what we want with these APs. But yes, if you have a need, let's say, to access and configure them individually, yes, you can do that. Like the autonomous APs. But the point is, these can be configured. Let's say, this is my existing, this is my core switch. This is my distribution layer. Just having a rough 3-tier architecture here. Access switch, not AP right now. So this is my what? Campus or enterprise network. And now here I have these APs. I may have like whatever number. And here I have APN. And this is where I have different, wireless devices going on. And now imagine these 500 APs. How will be configuring them? There'll be a WLC somewhere in your network. And then this WLC will be used for the configuration of these APs. I'll be coming on more details, but just simply saying all these APs, let's say their power configuration, security configuration, frequency configuration, RRM settings and everything, that will be done centrally by using this controller. So either you can manage them one by one, or this is the way you do that. But autonomous APs, they cannot be configured centrally through a controller. So here, controller is not needed. Here, controller is needed. That is the basic difference. Clear? All right.
Yes.
One doubt. In autonomous AP, like how it will get IPs? Like, do we need to
You
configure?
need to do that. Yes, you need to do that. Or you need to configure where you are attaching the DHCP server. The switches and all.
Okay, okay,
Yes, there the DHCP need to be enabled.
okay.
And
Right.
what is the difference between autonomous AP and the Flex?
FlexConnect.
Yes.
Okay. So your lightweight APs, when we'll come to that, they can be configured in different modes. By default, the mode that work is local. Okay, local means managed by WLC, and the traffic will be centrally switched by the CAPWAP. What happens actually when your AP comes online, when you give it the power, let's say PoE, primarily it is recommended that this is a PoE. The device comes up, and whenever it comes up, we'll be discussing later on the FSM, the messages, between the APs and WLC, everything. but just simply saying that when you power it on, and it will start looking for an IP address and the WLC address. Okay, so later on we'll talk about all of that part, the boot process. If you remember earlier in your CCNA, you have studied the boot process of a router and a switch. Same way, we'll discuss the boot process of NAP, all the finite state machines that it will go through and all. So in that time, it will discover a WLC. We have a different options here. Let's say option 43 by DNS, by IP address, we can, configure the AP to receive the WLC IP. Let's say WLC has just simply saying 1.1.1. So this here will get the IP address for the AP itself, and it will also learn that, okay, my AP is 1.1.1. And now if it need to exchange traffic, let's say with this device here, so for that, it need to go to first WLC, okay, in layer 3 tunnel. It will encapsulate the traffic, it will go to WLC, and then via WLC, this traffic will go there. So for the data plane and the control plane, WLC do the forwarding. So this is known as what? Something called central switching. So this is the default behavior in the local mode. Is that clear?
So there should be a VLAN gateway. So now the moment VLAN gateway is needed or not.
There
So
should be a
no,
VLAN
the
gateway. See,
traffic
if
the traffic between the VLAN gateway core switches, or it will be directly hit on the wireless LAN controller. I'm just confused.
okay, if something that if I'm understanding your question right, this link here, okay, this particular link is going to be what? An access link. This is going to be an access port. It means, let's say whatever management VLAN you have decided for these APs, let's say VLAN 10. This AP will be in that VLAN. And let's say you could have different SSIDs. One SSID, I'm having, let's say HR, one I'm having sales, one I'm having IT or something. And for HR, I'm using a VLAN, let's say 20. Sales, I'm using 30. IT, I'm using 40. And what else? I'm using a different subnet, let's say 192.168.20.0 here, 30.0 here, 40.0 here. And that device, let's say you are putting that into HR, right? So 20.5 or something. And here you want to ping or communicate with that device. Now, you don't need anything on this link. This link just need to be in that particular VLAN where the management of the AP belongs. And here you can say, all right, I am creating a CAPWAP tunnel. Each AP is having a CAPWAP tunnel with the WLC, and in that a message will be encapsulated. So from, let's say, I am from X address, I'm going to the Y address, and I'll be forwarding my traffic to 1.1.1 from whatever management address this device is having, this AP is having. When this will be received, then WLC will make the necessary changes and will be forwarding here. And same will be done here.
Okay,
That answers
everything
your
will be
question, or
forwarded.
it was something else?
Yeah, got it. Because I had implementation experience in
Hmm.
one of the big client. What at that time what I do in the AP to switch, I made a trunk port. I have experience in wireless controller
Trunk
AP to
port
switch.
by the lightweight
Yeah,
access points.
yeah, lightweight
It
access
could be
points.
a
I
special
created
case, but in
yeah
general,
native VLAN. I created a native VLAN
okay, okay.
between
We can
the
do that.
between
We
the
can do that.
WLC to the AP. That different VLAN is different.
Yes,
So
I'll be
that
teaching
might be
you
the
that in the
different
lab. Yes,
solution.
sorry. Yes, please continue.
That might be the different architect solution. But you are some people
No.
telling
That
that
can be a common
creating
one. That can be a common one
ha.
as well. Yes.
Okay.
But not that many people, implement that one.
Okay. I just it,
Okay. So whatever this management VLAN is, na, you allow that as a native VLAN for this AP to come up and get all the necessary control information,
Yeah, I did.
right?
So sir,
Yes.
I had one question.
Yeah.
Let's say like the CAPWAP we will be configuring. So while we'll be configuring, the two way we can do. One is in controller using CLI. Another one is like controller with GUI. So which
CLI, we don't prefer. Even Cisco don't want us to use CLI, to be honest. Everything is
okay,
via GUI. But
because
still,
there will be two
for the
things.
sake of discussion.
Sorry,
Yeah.
control and data, both the channels are there. So if we are going to do with the CLI, like it create a mess most of the time.
By using the CLI, it create a mess all the time. Okay, yes, it does.
And like the data and control channel, like if we are creating and if we need to create multiple, so in that time, like with the GUI, sometimes the GUI is not that good. Like it come with the browser mode, and that
Now it is pretty
sometimes.
good, I should say.
Okay.
Now,
Thank you.
have you worked recently on 9800?
Not 9800, 3800 and all. I work. It's mess.
Maybe then. Yes, now it's pretty good.
Sir,
So
I had
earlier,
experience
uh,
with 9800.
sorry, you experienced with what? 9800, huh?
I had a, yeah, yes, sir, new OS. Before
Okay,
2 months ago,
so is it good one? The GUI, what is your experience?
it's perfect, sir. It's perfect.
है ना?
Even there is no single drop. But the point is, the initial purpose, we should need to make more power to the AP. The artificial intelligence usually decrease the power of the AP. The initial stage, people are suffering because of there is no good internet.
See,
There is
obviously,
no
because
good
it is a
coverage.
wireless
Mm,
domain, everybody is kind of
mm,
trying to grab the air space time.
mm, mm.
Yeah, so
Then
we'll be
after
doing
we
some
increase the
necessary.
AP power.
Yes, you are very right. And that's why there is a dedicated section in this exam itself as well for that tweaking, how to improve that. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, sir. Thanks. Continue.
Yeah. All right. So any other question around this discussion here about the controller
Yeah,
and a
Kuldeep, you told that every time that user between different VLAN, they need to go to the WLC because most of the time for gateways, right, VLAN, SVIs we created on core, right? So
Hmm.
once they get all the SSIDs, then also for every packet flow, it goes to the WLC and
Yes,
then goes to the destination.
yes.
Okay.
It's
Because in 9800 we are not creating that, only L2s we are creating, right? And all the L3s normally we are keeping on core. So still it is going every time to WLC for every packet flow, whether it is in same VLAN or a different VLAN.
you are asking like, is there some caching process or something?
Means I want to know that when gateway is already there on core, right?
See,
And
understand the point
AP,
here. Understand the
yeah.
point from the AP's perspective.
Hmm.
For AP, it doesn't matter you are sending it the first time or hundredth time. It has a
Okay.
one single working principle that I'm belonging to this access port. I'm having myself in VLAN 10, and if I need to go somewhere else, I need to take help of WLC. That's it. That's all it knows.
But my confusion is that gateway, right? Because it is in VLAN 10 and it has go to in any other VLAN, then it doesn't consider the L3. It just know that I am a dumb device and for everything I have to go to controller, is it? And then
Yes, it is.
controller send it where is
Yes,
L3? Oh, okay.
yes. We'll be having multiple kind of discussion around this particular question. I don't, because to answer this now, I have to touch multiple different things, to be honest.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Because it
This
was
is
going
this is
confusing from what.
yeah, same confusion for me also. This is what.
We'll get to that. But yes, in simple, short, right now answer, yes, it need to go to the WLC.
Because in the 9800 we create nowadays the L2s only, right? But the previous control like 5500 or 3500, we were giving there the L3s also, like the mask and gateway back to the core switch. But now we are not doing
Again,
that
I'm
in
saying the same thing.
9800.
Yes, there
Yeah,
are
yeah, no
different
problem.
ways around that we
Hmm.
can go. But to touch that, I cannot simply say that this can be done. For
Okay,
right now, I
okay,
simply need to say that yes, everything goes via WLC. For
done.
at least
Okay.
for weaving together the discussion of today's part, and so that perfectly each thing can be relating to the other thing, at least for this discussion. But yes, there are multiple tweakings that we can do. One example,
Okay.
if I give you, just so that it make more sense, let's say in one way. Let's say I have this hub and spoke kind of setup. Um, if I have a WLC here in your HQ or something, and you have a site here, you have a site here, you have a site here, and let's say there is a user here, all right? And this AP is there, this AP is there, this AP is there. And somehow they are connecting to your central network. Now, what do you think? This user here for the control plane, where it need to go,
Yeah.
right?
To WLC. Correct.
It will
WLC.
go to WLC and then it will check whether it is a roaming profile or remote
Many
profile.
things are there. Yes,
Yeah,
many
yeah.
things are there. So simplifying it, it is consuming this WAN bandwidth, going to WLC, getting all the control parameters, and then whatever, wherever you want to go. So your data again, let's say the control information you are having. What about the data plane, where it is going to be
Locally, it should manage them.
by default?
No, no, no. First time from control plane, it get all the informations about the SSIDs and all,
Everything.
and
Okay.
then
Yes.
locally it should manage.
No, I'm saying by default, or you need to configure something else for that.
To the
Yeah, the
controller.
flex mode
Yes.
in flex, how normally we do,
So
right?
now, when there was this question here, the AP, the lightweight AP, one mode was local. So in local, everything happens via the WLC. That is the discussion we were
Oh,
having,
okay, okay.
right? So
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
by the way, Kuldeep, I think the policy profile, RF profiles will also play a major role in 9800.
yes,
And in the Flex Connect, the central switching can be done, and as well as the central DSCP can be done for the AP management. So there are
yes,
multiple ways in the 9800 controllers we can set up.
yes.
right.
Yes, yes.
But for control, you need to go there. That is for sure.
Yeah, control for sure, because
Yes.
WLC, by the way, WLC itself is a layer 2 device. So means like, before connecting the APs to the users, it should go through WLC in the tunnel, then go to the user. Or
Absolutely.
else the AP itself will not read which SSID you need to connect it according to
Simply dumb
the
it will be.
different SSIDs.
Yes. Whatever feature you want to implement and have, you are investing so much that will be having no effect at all. Right?
Yeah.
So this is about local. But yes, as you said, one of the mode is FlexConnect, where you can have this is the central switching, and this is where we have the local switching. Many people are confused the local word and local word here. Okay, don't be.
Hmm.
Right. So what other AP mode we have, if you remember? Do we have another AP modes as well?
Not aware of.
Okay. So we'll have a discussion on this as well later on, that we have multiple other modes as well. What about, let's say, not the lightweight AP, generally, how we can put the APs in the network, or how we can configure the APs to work?
Okay, so basically these are two kind of AP. I mean, there's one is like inside or outside. Outside means, let's say, which will be for outside of building or somewhere.
Yes, yes,
So the
outdoor.
moment, yeah, outdoor, indoor, and outdoor. So now, like indoor one, the moment you will be connecting with that access level of switch, so they will be having a VLAN and trunking to with the core and other things. So they will be one discovery will happen. So the moment it will, connect
Okay,
to that particular.
let's say I'm
Yeah.
not talking about these, about
Mhm.
these. What then? That's why I'm saying in general AP modes, in general.
Okay.
Remember something called
Repeater,
repeater?
repeater is
Yes.
one mode which generally our Meraki devices, if they didn't get
Yes.
proper information, they generally get into or boot into repeater mode and then
Even
bridge.
your
Yes.
home Wi-Fi routers can be configured for the repeater.
It's actually
Yes.
a mesh network nowadays.
Mesh. Yeah.
Correct. Mesh network. Correct.
Mesh network. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a route and map, wrap and map.
Wrap and map. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Especially the mesh. So these are the normal. But when we'll come to the lightweight now, then we'll also discuss how the Cisco lightweight APs can be configured in different sniffer, monitor, rogue detector, and all those. Many security modes can be configured.
Ethernet bridging can be done on the AP side, in
Yes.
the mesh network as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Today there is a lot. There is a lot. Let's say we can do in the wireless world. Okay. Again, coming to that access and trunk part, which is like one of the important factor to understand while talking about the lightweight and autonomous APs. Just give me a second. Yes. So if I have this AP and this is my autonomous access point, and it goes to your switch here, let's say access switch. It goes to your DS, the distribution layer, and it goes, let's say, all the top to your core. What kind of port it should be now? It was access. It
Access.
could be a trunk as we discussed, but generally we talk about an access port here. Like we can work with an access port, but now here this should be access or trunk
Access port.
Access.
in autonomous. Okay, let's
It
say
Either
should
access or
it
either
should
trunk.
be
It
it should
depends
be a
on the
trunk port to
it should
that
be a trunk.
specific VLAN management, the AP management.
Yes, so let's see why it should be like that, huh? Let's say this device here. So as we discussed, this is a powerful AP, not like these standalone APs. And by the way, they are known as standalone APs. I think I haven't touched this word. Okay, they are standalone APs. So this autonomous AP is a powerful one and it can support multiple SSIDs, right? So I'm configuring, let's say, what is that? And which I remember one more point from this, and I could have used that to better answer your previous question. So I'll come to that. What is something that I remember right now. But let's say VLAN 10 I'm using for SSID HR, and subnet is 10.1.0 or 10.1.0.0/16. VLAN 20 I'm using for IT. Let's take two example only. And this I'm using 10.20.0.0/16. Now, let's say there is this another AP and there is another user. So if you want to go to, let's say this is in HR and this is in IT, how you will talk to each other? From where the switching will happen?
through the VLAN gateway.
So here both the VLAN should be there, right? 10 and 20.
True. The
Through
switch
it
with
should
trunk
hit the
port
VLAN gateway.
with native VLAN as the management VLAN.
For the management VLAN, yes. Right? So here it is a compulsion, not a like choice or optional to have this as a trunk. Otherwise, this whole setup will cease to work.
Correct.
All right. So yes, these things we can do in both of these, but here a centralized controller will be needed, and here no centralized controllers needed. Here the configuration will be per AP, and here we can use the zero touch provisioning. You connect the AP, it will be powered on, and rest of the things will be managed by the controller. You can configure, let's say, AP group, RF group, and all we'll see later on. Okay, so
In the
common
autonomous
solution.
AP, I have a question. Between the autonomous AP, is there any connectivity or something? One AP configuration is known by other AP configuration. There is any uh, connection between both through the management ports, both the APs in the
You mean
autonomous?
to say, let's say if there are two APs here and here like
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
So
through
you are
the
asking
management port.
about the roaming or what?
Uh, Something configuration and IP address. Uh, it's known by one AP to another AP. What are the configuration and what are the clients that directed on the one AP
Like for
is known
which
by another
purpose
AP.
exactly you are asking?
For the mesh something,
For the
for the mesh network.
For mesh, a lot other things will change for sure.
Okay, okay.
Right? So that will be a whole different discussion, to be honest. All right. So today I'm just again saying so the same thing, uh, talking about different pieces and then trying to connect each other together. That's it. Okay. Not getting into the detail of a single one. Again, if I kind of want to have a mixed approach, let's say I want to have the features of autonomous APs and I don't want to use a controller. I don't want to invest on the controller. Do I have some other solution as well? Is there anything we can go with?
Can you repeat it again?
I'm saying I want to have all the features of, let's say, what LAP provides, but like autonomous AP, I don't want to invest in the controller because I know for these to use to leverage all the things of LAPs, I need to use a WLC, right? For
Yeah,
the centralized part.
embedded wireless controller, we can use it, correct?
One solution is that. So if I don't have that bigger of an environment, I can leverage
Yes.
one CAT switch as a controller.
Yeah, because 9300 comes with the feature that you can host like around 50 or 100 APs.
I believe 200 APs.
Yeah, 200 APs.
Yeah.
And
So
in Fusion border setup, border can have an embedded wireless LAN controller.
same can be configured as the border itself. Yes, same switch,
Yes.
which we'll see
Right.
by the way in the SDA section. Again, if I rephrase my question, I don't want to use any kind of in-house controller. Not a switch, not the controller, not the hardware
We
controller, not the
can have a
software.
AP itself can become a controller also.
Okay, not the
I
AP
think you
even. I
can
don't want
use
to use that.
the
we can
FlexConnect AP.
I don't want to use my controller at my own site.
we can have a controller. For example, there are a lot of architecture where I mean network design where we have
Guys, let's get on the same page.
Cloud, in the
In
cloud.
Aruba, there is a technology like a virtual controller like that. One AP,
Guys,
first bootable AP will be working as a controller.
guys, let's get to the same page. Try to understand my question. I'm saying I don't want to have a controller at all.
at any location, any
Yes,
centralized.
yes. Not on my premises at least. But
In the
still, I want
cloud.
the centralized management and configuration.
Yeah, cloud controller is an option.
Absolutely.
Controller Meraki is there, so that is
Right?
something that
That's where I am trying to get into, right?
Cloud
The
controller.
cloud managed.
Meraki is the one. Yeah,
Yes.
correct.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
can leverage, I can, get those.
But I having one doubt in this. If we are working with that, cloud controller, the local authentication policy and all those, you cannot work with this.
Obviously, there are, pros and cons, trade-offs, right? So when we are having the management discussion around, do I need to deploy this one or not? So yes, that is one factor I need to take into account.
Can autonomous APs can be used with the cloud controllers?
When I say autonomous, so what image is there? With controller or without controller?
Without.
Without
Okay,
controller.
without controller. Now, if I ask you in other way, so in that way, my Meraki APs will be what kind of APs? Autonomous or lightweight?
Lightweight.
Okay.
I mean, I would say lightweight with the flex.
Autonomous because the control plane goes to the correct cloud, but the data plane is local.
There is a term, I believe, I'm not remembering it somewhere in the document. I should have mentioned that. So we don't call them lightweight. We don't call them autonomous. There is a particular term given to this Meraki. Let me check it. I think I have. Can you see Meraki somewhere? This one. Where is that? No physical controller needed. Meraki Cloud. Somewhere I
I
should
mean, the
have.
by default we call this cloud managed mode. In general, that is one thing, but
Yeah. Let me
mostly
check. I think I
likely,
have.
yeah.
I have cloud managed or something. Yes, I think that is
Cloud
the.
managed is some is a default basically. That's what we called it as a default when we don't
Yes,
do anything. This is the mode when
that is the word
the
I believe. Yes, I'm looking for cloud managed APs. Absolutely, absolutely. So something somewhere I think I should have mentioned that. I'm not able to see it right here, but it should be somewhere. Meraki devices. But anyway, I hope you got the idea, right? Somebody has said something. Okay, not nothing. But all right, coming back to, so you got the point what I was trying to make, right? So they are not like exactly autonomous, they are not exactly lightweight. Okay, what else we can talk about today? Now, if I say that, all right, we have an enterprise network where I have lot of APs and I want the centralized management and configuration. I'm having a WLC. And WLC, if it is a hardware based, how many APs it can configure and manage? Any idea?
It
One
depends on
WLC
it depends on the licensing and the model of the controller.
at max 6,000
6,000, yes,
at max,
6,000
right?
yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you have the need for more than that, so we need to go for one more WLC. And in that way, let's say, imagine you have 4 or 6 different WLCs. Now, again, it becomes a configuration and management nightmare for the engineer. What else we can do? For the centralized, so for the centralized management of the APs, we are using WLC. Is there any solution we can use for the centralized configuration and management of the WLC itself? What my question?
Uh, Cisco
Yes.
DNA.
DNA, the DNAC or
yeah.
your Catalyst Center. Today
And
we call
earlier
it.
in the smart licensing, there is an option called go ahead. With the help of that, we could have do that. But now I don't think it's possible.
Sorry, repeat that.
Like, with smart licensing, there was a one subscription was there called go ahead. Go AHED. Go
Okay.
ahead. Yeah. So the go ahead, like, it's a like XML, YML kind of things. So
Okay.
we wish to like, do some jugaad and do this
Uh-huh.
configuration for multiple devices. But I'm not sure that right now it's going to work or not.
Okay, maybe just to promote this, it is not working, I believe, today to sell this solution. But yes, you can try. I have never heard about it, to be honest. All right.
Let
But
me send
yes.
you the link. Cisco, go ahead. So maybe people can check.
Okay, I'll
I
have a look
found it.
into.
I found it like in internet, and then it started working actually.
We are
Some
typical
of
Indian,
my
yeah. We are typical Indians.
Yeah, this Jugaad word itself is Indian.
There is a joke around that. I'll exchange that someday. But anyway, coming to the point, we can use SDN, right? The SDA solution, software defined access, and where what happens? Let's say if I have this, what is this Catalyst Center or DNAC that I used to say earlier. So here, somewhere, let's say down the road, wherever you are having your controllers, 1, 2, 3, there can all be discovered here in the inventory of the Catalyst Center. So there it becomes like very super easy. We can create different wireless profiles, SSIDs, security policies centrally. Any other question that we have around this particular discussion that we had today? All right, so I hope it was a useful discussion. In the next class, the agenda is going to be what? We'll be talking about the basics of wireless and wireless networking, and we'll see where exactly in this entire spectrum of wireless networks our Wi-Fi comes into picture. But before that, we'll have a broad level discussion about this entire wireless communication. And how this is made possible by this radio frequency RF technology. So we'll see what that is, what are some different terminologies, and in particular, what my goal will be for the next class to make all of you guys comfortable with this wireless technology. So that is going to be the motive for coming, let's say 1, 2, 3 classes. The entire week, even if I have to spend, I will be spending just to be comfortable with the wireless side of things, wireless technology, terminologies, maths, RF, whatever goes around it. All right.
I think when math part will come, we need to take some time because that derivative integration, so many things are there. It's very
We don't need
calculated.
that much, to be honest.
Okay.
We don't need that much, even in production, even in your lab. But whatever is relevant, at least for making sense of understanding every reading material and working on the controllers and SDN everywhere, will be, initially at least we'll be getting that much done. So yeah, that's it for today, guys, at least. I hope it was useful in one way or other. Thank you so much for being here with me. It was a lovely session, and I'll hope to see you on Monday. Yeah. Have a nice
Thank
weekend.
you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.